Well, hello once again. We're going back and do a few more adjustment procedures on our Juke after our amazing success last time. Let's hope it holds, okay? Our good luck. But before we do that, I thought I'd give you a little sneak peek on what's in store for me on this old Zenith 7S 633 radio from 1942. Boy, I'll tell you what, this was a bear to get out of that chassis. See right here? Yeah, brown stuff, that light brown stuff right there. Move this light here. The stuff here came from these cushions here, these soft cushions. Real soft, you know. Anyway, there's part of one right there. This is almost like that foam, you know, they put in the house now to, you know, seal cracks and everything out of the spray can. But they're little pads, you can buy them. And these things... So apparently what's happened here, the only thing that ever happened to this radio is a speaker cloth's been put in and the radio was stripped down, and it was never really given a finish. It was just probably a little stain rubbed in, and that was the end of it. The rest just, I don't know if it ever played or not. And this is the inside of our chassis. It looks pretty much unmolested. I don't see anything wrong that's been replaced, repaired, or anything, which is always good news, you know. But there is one thing that was floating around underneath the chassis in the cabinet that I had never seen before. Oh, I guess I had seen it, but I never came across one like it myself. This little brown thing. What we have here is, I just thought, this is some of the stuff you'll run into with these whole radios. This is one side of a mica capacitor. It was just floating around in there, and there is where it came from. There's a double mica. Let me see, where is it? Where are we? Right here. Okay, there it is right there. The back side of this mica capacitor is where it came from. Okay, kind of neat, huh? Anyway, I'm going to be messing around. A lot of rubber coated wire on this thing. And the wire just kind of crumbles right off as soon as you touch it with your fingers. See it just coming right off in my hand. We're down to the bare wire already. We'll have to change some of that. I repaired and restored a Zenith radio before. I had to change a lot of it, but it doesn't look like it's going to be too bad here. So that's what we're going to be. That's what I'll be doing anyway. You know, you all won't be seeing much of that. It's going to be a long, drawn-out, project, because the Jukebox is priority for us, at least right now. So let's get back to it. Well, the first thing the procedure calls for in the clamp arm adjustment is you have to line up the pivot pin, which is this thing right there. That thing right there. They want you to line up the pivot pin with the hole in the flywheel. And it has to be, you have to put a record in there, by the way. I'll have to clamp a record. I've got it right there. You have to clamp a record in there and then adjust these two screws out here, which would raise and lower this thing, and get it to where it's dead center or 1/32 of an inch below the center line of the flywheel. Well, this is your flywheel. I always thought it was the turntable. I guess that's the turntable right there, and this is the flywheel here. So let's get a record in there, and also have to put this thing in the play position. Of course, you know, what we did last, it's right now in the scan position, so I need to move it on around to get it in the play position. The record is in, the clutch is down in, or the clutch arm is down in the play notch. The clamp is closed against the record, and now we're supposed to determine whether or not this thing is within 1/32 of an inch of the center line of this thing here, the flywheel. Now, how the heck am I supposed to do that? It's all covered up by the record. I don't understand how we're supposed to determine if it's within 1/32 of an inch with that stupid record there. I'm just going to have to eyeball that baby and leave it alone. The next thing it says you have to loosen the lock nuts and adjust both screws as required so the tip of the centering pin enters the record hole as shown. Now, as shown means at an angle. It comes on up. See that little dotted line? Well, that's what's happening right now. It is coming up like that and entering into the hole like that. But I'll be darned if I can figure out how I'm supposed to get 1/32 of an inch measured right there. I'll tell you what, this is going to have to be a complete eyeball operation here. I'll take a look at it for a little while longer. Alright, I see what they want you to do. They want you to loosen up these two screws. And then they want you to move the pivot block. Now this is the pivot block. This thing right here that the screws go through. They want you to move the pivot block up or down until the center line of the pin, which is on the other side, is 1/32 of an inch below the center line of the flywheel shaft. Now how am I supposed to determine that? Apparently this is the flywheel shaft, and they want this block to be in the center or 1/32 of an inch below maximum. I'll tell you what, I still don't see how I'm supposed to do that. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm not going to mess with that because I really don't know how to do that. I've been looking at it, trying to figure out how am I supposed to determine that that's in the center just by loosening the screws. I don't get that. I'll tell you what, if we have any problems with that, we'll just have to come back at a later date because I'm totally lost on this. I don't see how I can do it. Let's see what the other screws have to offer. I took the record out. Let's go ahead and move the clamp in and out and take a look at how that pin goes in that hole. Comes down at an angle just like the dotted line that was on the piece of paper. As far as I'm concerned, that's good. That is good. However, we do have another problem. I think, a potential problem. Once this clamp arm goes shut, like so, there is a contact down in here that's hit by that screw. And I have a multimeter hooked to it right now. With it closed, it should be open. The contact should be open. But as you can see, it's not. I keep your eye on that. When I open up the clamp, you'll see that nothing happens. Okay, it's not working. I may have to come back. Now, what we're doing right now, guys, to remind you, is the mechanical adjustment. Later on, there is an electrical adjustment or electrical alignment, or that checks out a lot of these pins and things like that, these connectors. And that right there is probably supposed to open up once that clamp goes in and clamps the record in. So we'll probably be coming back to that. Well, we're done with that little portion. The next thing we have to do is take the magazine and put it back on the base, and then go through the alignment of that, or the mechanical adjustment of that. And then following that will be the transfer arm alignment procedure. So when it comes up, it doesn't hit one of these. We want it to go right in the middle there, or as close as we can. It's designed to where if it's a little bit off, it'll line right back in there once it gets up there. So that'll give us a little more room on the bench. Let me get that back on. As a reminder, right in the very beginning of this series, I told everybody that if you're going to remove this rack, when I removed it to paint it, this transfer arm has to be all the way down and out of the way. You can't put the rack on unless the transfer arm is all the way down, and then it's spring loaded and everything. So how do you get it to hold it down like that? Well, there's a gear down here. Let me show you. Nothing to it really. There's nothing to any of this stuff really. You'll notice that there's a gear teeth down in there. See those gear teeth on that shaft? What we're going to do is we're going to take a screwdriver and lay it in there horizontally in the teeth so that the arm can't come back up. Let me get that done. Alright, I just took a little tiny jeweler's screwdriver shaft and just pushed that thing all the way down as far as I could go, and then I just ran it in from this side of the mechanism till the screwdriver was down in those teeth right there. It'll hold fine until I get ready to take it out, and it'll enable that transfer arm to clear the bottom of this thing while I'm sitting it on top of the base. I hope. Now it says to, now that I've got this on there, I've just got a bolt left and right, and it's a little bit loose, so I can adjust this thing left and right. We want to be able to adjust the magazine left and right to line up with the record once it's on the turntable. But it says what you have to do is you have to move this thing down to its approximately right in the center, and then stick a record on the turntable you know, down in there on the turntable, and then move it left and right. Move the carriage or the rack left and right until it's as close to the center as you can get. And they said use a center slot. Well, this is the center right here. I marked it with a little pencil mark right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, right there. So this is the one we'll be using right here. So we're going to have to fire this baby up and then hit the switch and move it down as close as we can there, and then, you know, again, move the shaft on the motor until we get it right where we want it. Well, that's about as close as I can get it. I didn't get it all the way over here to where the pencil mark was, but it says near the center. As far as I'm concerned, that's close enough to the center, and I think I've got it. I know that the transfer arm is up into that same spot. You can see that it's not touching anything. Now keep in mind these records, they do flop around just a tad, but I'll play with it just a little bit before I tighten up those bolts, but it looks pretty good to me. Alright, when you're all done with this, they tell you to make sure that those bolts that hold that rack down are tight. Alright, they emphasize tight, so what I'm going to do is I tighten it up the best I can. I'm going to take a pair of pliers and then just kind of give it that last little snug. And that'll do it. You don't have to go bananas on it. This one over here gave me enough room that I didn't have to use the pair of pliers. I was able to go ahead and get that Allen wrench right down in there and give it a good tight. Okay, let's move on to the transfer arm. Well, this next part with this transfer arm is going to be lots of fun. The way I read it, we have to move this carriage all the way down so the transfer arm will come up in this space right here, not the record slot A1. You're supposed to move it all the way down so the transfer arm will come up through here. Well, let's see if we can get that done. Well, I moved it all the way down. The last couple of millimeters, I went ahead and, you know, used the shaft with my thumb on the motor to get it, but it won't go all the way to where the transfer arm will be outside the rack, which is where they want it. And the reason being is the bumper on the other end, one like this, needs to be adjusted this way. I've got it too far in. I've got it too far in this way, preventing the carriage from coming as far as it needs to go. So I'm going to have to move the carriage out of the way, move the bumper, you know, all the way to the left. And there's an adjustment procedure later on for adjusting those bumpers, by the way. So I'll go ahead and get that done, then bring the carriage back so I can get that transfer arm here. Right now it's here. No good. That's the bumper I was talking about. I just loosened up these two screws and shoved it all the way this way. Hopefully it'll give me the clearance now. Alright, we're good to go. We're now one position to the left of A1, which is the first slot. And you can see the transfer arm right there, that little thin black line. That's the transfer arm. So what we have to do now is put a record down in there and then see if the transfer arm will bring it all the way up and put it up here without any problems at all. And of course I have to do that by turning that coupling again by hand. Bummer. It said to put that old record in there and in that space, you know, outside of the rack, and then turn that coupling by hand on the motor until the transfer arm came up and caught the edge of the record, which it is now. The record's now sitting between the forks on that transfer arm. Now I have to keep turning that motor coupling until the record actually comes all the way up and gets clamped into the clamp here, getting ready to play. So I'm going to have to do that. I'll be back when I'm done. I'll tell you what the heck, why should I suffer alone? I'll let you sit here and watch me spin this stupid thing around and around and around she goes. I might even do some singing like old 64 goat. Yeah, now that would get you all excited. Look at that, the old record's coming up, the transfer arm's bringing it up like it's supposed to. Isn't this fun? Yeah. Now we're going to bring it on up. Hopefully that clamp will go closed once it gets there. Are you suffering along with me? I hope so. Oh, this is so much fun, isn't it? I don't know what the holdup here is. That thing should close now. Once it closes, you have to do an adjustment on the back. Let me see. The adjustment we have to do is you're supposed to have this thing adjusted so far away from the record edge. Anyway, you got to see me do that part anyway. Now let's see if I can figure out how that adjustment is supposed to be made. Well, this turns out to be another piece of cake, guys. They want you to adjust it so once the record is clamped into here, which it is now, they want you to adjust it, the transfer arm head, to where there's clearance on the record, a 1/16 of an inch, which is pretty small, you know, and you do that clearance adjustment by adjusting this screw right here, directly below where the head's at. So if you have a jukebox like this someday, exactly the same, and you go to make your adjustment, you look down here and that screw's missing, better find one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make the adjustment with a 1/4 inch wrench. Okay. Well, there it is. I got that all done. That's about a 1/16 of an inch, I guess. I mean, you got to kind of eyeball that stuff. This record is not perfectly round, but as I spin it by hand, it's not touching it, which is good. I think that was the whole idea, to get the record up there, get that baby spinning. They don't want it running against the head while it's starting to play to shave off the edge of the record or ruin the head. All right, let's see what's next. I think we're just about ready to wrap up this video. The last item on the list is to, again, turn that coupling and to make sure that the record is firmly clamped and the clamp is all the way down. And when you do that, this transfer arm will move away from the record and sit about a 1/4 of an inch from the edge. And that's exactly what we got. How about that? All right, we're going to make that the end of our record right now. I mean, the end of our adjustment procedure right now, because starting next time we've got to do the Torment memory unit position, which is this big old gold thing you see laying over here. And we've got 20 more pages of adjustments to do on the mechanical side of the house before we start getting into the switch mechanism, switch brackets. And we're going to have contact gaps and pressure adjustments, things like that. 20 more pages, but it won't be so bad. It won't be so bad. We'll just breeze right through it as if it wasn't even there, okay? Not a problem. So hopefully everybody learned something new again. That's what this is all about. You know, I wasn't going to go into quite as much detail, but I got thinking, you know, if I was some person who had never purchased a jukebox, and I went out and I found myself a Seeburg, and most of these mechanisms during the 60s, believe it or not, were pretty much the same. There were a few tiny variances, but every one I've seen on YouTube, almost all of them, they all have the same basic thing. All the little, you know, maybe the switch mechanisms might be a little different, the contacts, but the mechanical side of the house is pretty much identical. So if I had gone out to buy one, I say, gee, I wish there was something on YouTube I could follow along with and maybe get mine going. Well, I decided that's what I better do that. I better stick with that kind of philosophy, show folks what I'm doing, right or wrong, it's what I'm doing. And if it's wrong, of course, what do? Well, we come back and do it again. We find out what we did wrong and redo it. So I think it'll help somebody at some point in time. You know, you never know. One of you guys could go downtown into a flea market or some kind of a junk shop or something and find an old jukebox down there that looks pretty much ratty as mine, and you might decide, you know, hey, I can pick this thing up for a couple $100. It might be worth giving it a try. John's already done all this crap. He's done all the work, you know. All we got to do is follow along. So that's what it's all about, you know. I'm not going to live forever. I'll be long gone here in a few years, and yeah, you kind of leave something behind for folks that may need it someday. Okay, that's it until next time. Until then, this is John. By the way, the March winds are hitting hard here right now. Listen to this. It is really blowing. It's been blowing real hard out here all day. But sure is nice to see some sun though. Oh, more flowers in the yard. Yeah, well. Look at that flag up there. Look at my little American flag. It is just standing straight out if I can find it. there. Look at that baby.